What's up, everybody? So doing this video because wanted to talk about Elon Musk. Now officially, excuse me, got like something in my throat. I don't know, polleny, something. I don't know. Anyway, Elon Musk has now officially taken over Twitter. And there's been a bunch of news floating around about that. So first of all, he released a statement where he basically said, we can't have this as a hellscape free-for-all. So in other words, kind of backtracking a little bit on the previous commitments he had made to like totally unfettered free speech. He was basically saying, I'm going to do some content moderation. And, you know, the argument is, I don't want to lose all the advertisers because then all of his revenue is gone and he's got so much money now invested in Twitter. He wants to be more on the safe side. So he kind of backed off of the original pledge.
Yeah, well, and the thing even said, like, letter to advertisers.
Yeah, it was like, please keep giving me money.
I promise you it's going to be fine. You can advertise here. Yeah, because the reality is the business model of Twitter is actually not all that great. So
yeah,
it's not an easy thing for him to make a bunch of money off of right away.
Yeah, but then the other thing that we saw is that he did fire like 4 top executives pretty much immediately. So I don't know. What do you take away from that, Crystal? How do you view that? What does that mean?
I have no idea. I mean, I think already he's backing off of, as you said, like the maximalist free speech initial sort of impetus for buying Twitter. He's thrown out all kinds of different plans that he seems to like float something and then walk that back as well. So I don't know. Is he going to make it better? Is he going to make it worse? Is it going to basically stay the status quo? I'm just sort of like withholding judgment and waiting and seeing.
But then I also saw headlines that said he's going to roll back all of the lifetime bans. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I did see that.
Now, but he also made some other comment like,
well,
we haven't made any real decisions yet on that front.
What I saw was not that they were going to like reinstate everyone who has a lifetime ban, but it's just like, we're not going to do lifetime bans anymore. So no one's going to be banned for life indefinitely anymore. Right. But I didn't read that as like all those people are just automatically back on. I don't think that's what it was meant to say.
Well, yeah, because I mean, people are assuming that at some point, obviously Kanye will be back on at some point, that they want Trump to be back on at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, it seems to me like it's a little bit of a contradiction there, because at the same time, he's saying advertisers don't leave. This is not going to be a free-for-all hellscape. To immediately roll back all the lifetime bans is more consistent with his previous commentary on free speech. You know what I mean? So,
but again, there's a difference between changing the policy from like, we're no longer going to do indefinite bans to we're letting everybody back on. Those are very different things. I mean, personally, I think Trump should be back on. I know that's probably maybe not that popular, but especially dude is going to be running for president here in about 5 seconds. And so,
well, I mean, a point that I always thought was devastating. Here comes Stinky. Oh my God, going 100 miles an hour at it. A point I always thought was devastating was like, how can you have it so that like the Taliban spokesperson
right.
or like, you know, the head Taliban guys
right.
on Twitter and Trump's kicked off? Because it's like whatever sort of political crimes Trump is guilty of, and believe you me, he's guilty of many.
Yes.
It's like you also have this guy who's like casually ordering beheadings and whatnot, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, are we going to be consistent or not? I mean, they would argue, but Trump violated it when he was on Twitter. He violated Twitter policies, and the other guy is just a, you know, mass murderer while he's off Twitter. And it's like, is that really that convincing of a thing? Like, so somebody could like mildly violate Twitter policy and get suspended, but somebody who's like a serial killer, as long as they don't violate Twitter policy, it's like they're allowed in the discourse. It just strikes me as kind of, how do you draw reasonable, rational lines around stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And I also, you know, just from like a pragmatic perspective, it has been nice not having Trump on Twitter because he's obnoxious.
Right,
it's terrible when he dominates the news cycle. I can't say that it's been like better for our democracy or like he's diminished it. It hasn't really diminished him.
I don't know if I agree with that.
In fact, I actually, in my view, the fact that he's not in our face being his obnoxious asshole self every day has helped to allow people to forget just how like obnoxious and terrible this guy is.
See, I don't know if I agree with that point, because
I don't even think from a political perspective it's been a net benefit.
So here's why I don't necessarily agree with that point, because I used to make this argument too, like deplatforming doesn't even work because then you push it underground and it can get even more popular, and so you're actually not even accomplishing the goal that you think you're accomplishing of like cutting the legs out from underneath whoever the person is. But realistically, you know, somebody like Milo Yiannopoulos was deplatformed. Where the fuck is he now? Nowhere. He's on some televangelist network trying to hawk gold coins or some shit.
In general, I agree with you. I do think deplatforming works. I'm just talking about this one specific instance. I don't think it has really hurt Trump. In fact, if anything, I think it has kind of been beneficial for him because it's been easy for people to memory hole just how obnoxious and how much chaos he creates on a day-to-day basis.
Well, the other reason I don't necessarily agree with that is because he's doing rallies all the time and saying fucking insane things. You know what I'm saying? So
he is reinserting himself now. Yeah,
I'm a little more bullish on DeSantis than you, and you're a little more bullish on Trump than I am.
Yeah,
I mean, I grant you that he's the favorite.
Yeah,
but I don't grant that like it's set in stone that he's gonna, because with all the investigations and the rise of DeSantis, I do think it's just a little bit of it's constantly in flux. This is not a stagnant situation; it's a fluid situation, and I think the more time goes by, the worse off he is. But anyway, back to the Twitter conversation. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen moving forward in terms of the policies that he's changing. I don't know if he can really come through on the whole pro-free speech thing because he is scared about the advertisers.
Yeah.
But I have seen a decrease in my Twitter follower count. Have you?
Yeah, I actually just noticed
that
today.
Okay, yeah. It's happening because some people are fleeing, So.
I guess that's what's going on. I mean, I guess my bottom line with the pro-free speech thing is ultimately, even if he changes content moderation policies to be more quote-unquote free, at the end of the day, when your free speech is dependent on a single billionaire, how free is that ultimately? I mean, that's the bottom line issue
you
here.
and I think we have the same position on this, that I want Twitter to be treated as a public utility, regulated like a public utility, which is like, if this is really the new town square, then treat it like the new town square. You can't have a single billionaire own it. And it is kind of funny when the right-wingers think like, the good billionaire will come and save us. It's like, I got bad news for you, dog.
Yeah.
Good billionaire is a little bit of a contradiction.
Right.
I don't say so myself. Not saying that some wouldn't be a little better than others, but still, ultimately, you're shifting the deck chairs around on the Titanic, as the old saying
On
goes.
the other hand, the liberals who are like, oh my God, now a billionaire controls our social media platforms. It's like,
bitch, where were you?
Guys,
hello.
How different is this really, ultimately?
Totally. So anyway, is there anything else about Musk that we're forgetting? The fake news story you were telling me about.
This
a bunch
is
of people
funny.
fell for some fake news on Twitter.
There were a couple of people who were posing as fired Twitter employees, and a bunch of news outlets, including, I know CNBC fell for it, but others did as well. And the reporter for CNBC was like, this poor guy, he's really shaken up. He's got a Tesla. He doesn't even know how he's going to make the payments.
And it was just phenomenal trolling where people played a convincing role of a Twitter
employee,
but they weren't Twitter
boxes
employees.
Or something. Yeah, and everybody got taken in.
So I didn't say anything about it publicly, but when I saw the headlines, I had no reason to doubt it. I saw some of the, I didn't watch the videos, but I saw them pop up on my Twitter feed.
Yeah,
well,
people got fired, and then you see, okay, here's some of the people.
So you just think, this is it. Yeah. But no, it was people trolling. Man, fake news has run amok, if I don't say so myself. So A+ trolling.
Maybe Elon Musk can crack down on that.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you. Peace.